somebody asked me on one podcast way back, well, of course you believe in reincarnation. I go, what reincarnation? What do you mean? What? I said, think about this. If it's all a dream, and I have a dream life, and I wake up from that dream because I die, quote unquote, and then I come back in another dream life, and then I come back in another dream life, and I keep coming back to all these dream lives, but I've never changed. I'm still the same consciousness. There was no reincarnation. There was only incarnation. I was never not me. I was never God. I mean, I was never always God. I'm always God. So is there reincarnation? If it's all a dream, you dreamt you had a life. And since all life, past, present, future, is going on simultaneously, how could that be if you got reincarnations? I mean, it's all happening now. It's all one. It just flows. But what you do in the now can change what happens in the future now. You know, and what you're doing in the now, like meditation, burning karma through meditation, like Kriya Yoga, you can lessen some of the stuff you did in the past. So actually, you're changing your past, and you can change your future, but you do it all in the now. This is the only place you can work.
Yeah.
It's the only place that you got. This is the only reality we have in this time-space box that we're locked in, is the now. That's our playground. So from the now, that's where you got to solve your problems. Now, if you really get into heavy meditation and your skills and stuff, you can transverse along this line of now, and you can slide into a future now.
You mean like a vision?
No, like slide in. You're there. Yeah, it's a vision if you're still consciously in this now. And you could slide into the past now. You could occupy multiple nows.
Really? Has it happened to you?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so you could do that. But how's that done? I can't even explain it. Because explaining it, it's like you got to go, whoa, what do you mean multiple nows? How can it be two nows? You know. So somebody reading the future is not a big deal. Somebody reading the future just looks at the future and reads the newspaper. Here it is. Here's what happens. That's not a big deal. But what you choose to do with that information is sacred. So knowing things and saying things are two different things. Got to be, there's some things that I can say this, I shouldn't say this. And there's some things that just, there's no way they come across other than egotistical or bombastic or whatever. So one has to really measure what you say. And even at times, I even feel like, gee, I say this, there's no way to come across. It's certainly not a humble thing to say. It's just, it reeks, and I'm always on guard on that. So there's sometimes, I believe it or not, sometimes I don't say things. But I'm telling you, yes, you can slide across the scale of now. It's not a permanent, there's nothing permanent. The only thing is God's love.
Yeah. Just ask you, because this is very interesting. I'm wondering if you've experienced this. Is this just due to your specific abilities, because you have many, or do you know of other people who don't have your psychic abilities who are also capable of this?
Oh, I know a couple of people in India that's capable of this, yes. Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that it's happened to me, I can't be egotistical enough to think it won't happen to somebody else. Now, it would be nice if I could control, there's people that can control that and, intentionally do that. And there's some people that it happens to for reasons. So that's another whole leg up, to be able to consciously go, okay, I'm going 5 years from now. No, that's a whole different level. And I only know probably one person that I've met that's probably could do that. So that's a whole different level than it's happenstance. It happens when you need it, when you need to know something, where there's a reason. Not your decision. It happens. The universe made a decision. So, yeah, I could make a good science fiction book, wouldn't it?
No, it's interesting. It is very interesting because one of my previous guests, he had also very interesting cities from his very birth. He had very interesting powers and things happening to him. And he told me in our interview that recently, in the last couple of years, he would be doing something, sitting on a chair, driving his car, and suddenly in a flash, he would be at another place, at another time in another place, and not just seeing, but completely living another life. And his hypothesis is that he's experiencing other incarnations.
Yes to that. That got in my mind. I just said yes because my mind says yes. All right, wherever that was, yes. But I've seen it. I've seen it happen. Of course, I had a time travel event that I went back to Vietnam and visited myself from, it was about 15 years ago or so. So I'm an older man, the white beard, and I was dealing with some things in that present now. So I got to, since we're telling time stories, you got this now, that now. Anyway, in the present, then, now, in 2000 something, I'm worried about helping people because I've been trying to help people and nothing's working. I'm telling people, don't do this, don't do that. You know, I can't control their futures. Remember that story I told you before? So it was around that same time. So I'm going, wow, I tell these people not to do that because something's going to happen and they listen anyway. And so I'm laying in my bed and all of a sudden I'm transported. I'm out of my bed and I'm sitting on top of my Huey helicopter in Vietnam. It's sitting on the side of the airfield in the dark. It's about midnight. And the me of 1967, of April 1967, is looking at me from 2005 or whatever it was, right?
Wow.
And I'm seeing myself and thinking from 2005 going, well, that's me. I remember when this happened when I was in Vietnam. And then there's me of that time looking at me and I go, well, that's me from the future. And I remembered that in April of 1967, I was on top of my helicopter and I was working on it in the dark and had a flashlight under my neck to see, which was really stupid because you got snipers out at the edge of the runway and that's the only light they see, right? You know, where they're going to shoot, right? So, but I'm trying to work on this thing and I was sitting there and I was despondent because I told a couple guys not to fly and they flew anyway. And one got killed and one got wounded. So it was the same kind of thing. I couldn't control people's things. I was having that same thought pattern I was having 40 some years later. And so the old me tells the young me, hey, look, you know, you can't control people's future. I know I'm here. I can't control anybody's, right? And the younger me says, yeah, we've had this conversation before. Yeah, I couldn't control nothing here, and you're not going to be able to control anything there. It's people's, it's their own will. It's their own destiny. It's their own fate. Get over it. And we looked at each other and had a long conversation. But I remember that crazy moment. When I was in Vietnam at the time, I thought I kind of shook myself loose when it was all gone, right? I'm going, oh, this is weird. And then it happens 40 some years later, and I'm going from the other direction coming back, and I'm going, I've been here before. This is the conversation we had. Yeah, we've had this conversation. We have this conversation about having had that conversation.
Wow.
So, and depending on when I was talking, I was seeing and thinking from the perspective of that me.
That's incredible.
And sometimes it was an overlap, and I couldn't tell which. So when I say sliding, that's what I mean, sliding. Same thing in the future, except there's no old me. It's just future. So that is hard to explain and impossible for anybody to. How do you verify that? You can't verify it. You can't. So I tell people, look, there's a lot of things happen to a lot of people, and you're going to meet people as you interview people. Your job is not to analyze, is that right or wrong? Is that true or not? If you're a true interviewer, you let the conversation go where it goes, and you kind of focus, you ask some questions, which you're very good with. But ultimately, if that person expresses a view, it's not yours. It is what it is. But as we go down this road of life, I'm getting things on you right now. That's why I can't think. I'm getting things to you. I'm sliding. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah. Sliding. I don't know whether to share them or not, but I'm sliding, so I've kind of lost everything. So I can't maintain this now fully because I only slide forward just a little. Yeah, interesting. It's interesting. Anyway.
It is super interesting.
It's interesting, but you'll survive. Anyway, it's interesting.
Thank you.
Nothing. It just is what it is.